It's almost 2 in the morning and your body is exhausted, but your mind clocked in for another shift. The same 3 thoughts keep circling the room like they pay rent. The conversation you keep replaying, the number in the account, the result you're waiting on, the person you can't fix. And somebody already sent you the verse. Do not be anxious about anything. And honestly, it made it worse. Because now you're anxious and you feel like a bad Christian for being anxious. So before we touch that verse, let me tell you where it was written. It wasn't written on a beach or in a quiet study with good coffee. It was written in a Roman prison cell by a man in chains who didn't know if you'd be alive next month. That changes everything about how you read Philippians 4. It's not a greeting card written by someone who's never been afraid. It's a prescription written from the worst place a person could write one. And Paul says in chapter 1 that the whole imperial guard had found out he was in chains for Christ. So picture the scene the way Roman custody usually worked. Paul writing about peace with a guard chained to his wrist. And when he reaches the promise, he reaches for a word the guard beside him would have recognized. The peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That word is Phroureo, a military term, to garrison, to post a sentry, to stand watch at the gate. Paul never says peace will explain your situation. He says peace will guard you inside it. Tonight, 5 moves from Philippians 4, and a sentry for the night shift you've been working alone. And move 5 is the one that decides whether the other 4 hold till morning. But first, one honest word, because this topic gets misused. Do not be anxious is a command, but it is not a condemnation. In Gethsemane, Jesus said his own soul was very sorrowful, even to death. So let this settle. Feeling anxiety is not proof that you're a weak Christian. And if what you carry is clinical, panic attacks, a diagnosis, this is no replacement for a doctor or a counselor. Getting help isn't a lack of faith, it's stewardship. God is not offended by medicine any more than he's offended by crutches. He is with you in that office too. Now, the 5 moves. Move 1. Rejoice at the right target. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Read the target carefully. Rejoice in the Lord. Not in the outcome. Not in the report, not in how the week went. Because if your joy needs your circumstances to cooperate, it will be exactly as stable as your circumstances. Paul had no good circumstances at all, and he said it twice. This isn't pretending you're fine. It's aiming your heart at the one thing in the room that is not moving. So say it to him out loud tonight, clumsily if you have to. You are still good. You are still here. You are still God. You probably won't feel it the first time. Say it anyway. You're aiming, not performing. Joy anchored to circumstances drifts. Joy anchored to Him holds. Move 2. Soften your grip, because anxiety makes you brittle. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. That word means gentle, yielding, non-demanding. And notice what anxiety does to us long before it shows up as fear. It shows up as friction. Short answers with the kids. Rigid about the plan. Impossible about details that don't matter. Anxious people become people the ones they love have to tiptoe around. And Paul's reason for softening is strange and beautiful. The Lord is at hand. Near in time, near in presence, and both undo the grip. You can unclench because someone nearer than your problem is holding the outcome. A gripping hand can't receive anything. Quick pause. If you've been anxious and ashamed of it, type "Take the watch, Lord" in the comments. Because move 3 is where most of our praying quietly goes wrong. Move 3. Pray specifically and bring thanksgiving with you. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Most of us do exactly half of that verse. We bring the request. We leave the thanksgiving at home. And here's what that does. Prayer without thanksgiving slowly becomes worry with religious vocabulary. That's not a scolding, it's a habit, and habits can change tonight. We recite the problem to God, in detail for the 4th time, and stand up more anxious than we knelt. Thanksgiving is what turns the recital into a handoff. Because gratitude drags your eyes off the thing you can't control and onto a God with a track record. So tonight, do both halves. Name the request specifically. Then name 3 things He has already done. Anxiety rehearses a future with no evidence. Thanksgiving recites a past full of it. Move 4. Let the sentry take the post. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Now look closely at what is promised and what is not. He does not promise the situation resolves by morning. He does not promise an explanation. He promises a guard. Surpasses all understanding means it doesn't wait for the math to make sense. It arrives before the answers do. And notice what the sentry patrols: your heart and your mind, your feelings and your thoughts, both gates. Because anxiety attacks on both fronts. It floods the heart and it argues with the mind. Here's the part most of us miss. You cannot manufacture this peace. It isn't a technique you master. It's a gift, not a payment. He isn't rewarding your technique. He's meeting you in the handoff. You do verse 6, God does verse 7. And if you hand it over and still don't feel calm, the sentry didn't leave his post. Sometimes the guard is standing while you still feel the wind. You were never supposed to be the night guard of your own soul. And move 5, the one that decides if the other 4 hold. Watch what you feed your mind. Because you can hand it all to God at 10 p.m. and take it all back by 10:15. One scroll at a time. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, think about these things. That's not a suggestion for nicer thoughts. It's a diet chart for a mind under siege. And look at the very first word on the list: true. Most of what anxiety serves at 2 a.m. isn't true yet. And when the fear is real, anxiety still writes chapters God never wrote. Anxiety is a storyteller with no evidence and an unlimited budget. So audit the input, the news at midnight, the search results, the comment section, the conversation you're having in your head with someone who's asleep, and feed it something true on purpose. The psalmist knew the taste of it. Psalm 94. When the cares of my heart are many, your consolations cheer my soul. Then Paul closes with the practice. Verse 9. Practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. Read that ending slowly. Verse 7 promised the peace of God. Verse 9 promises the God of peace. The gift is good. The giver is better. So picture the room again, almost 2 in the morning. Nothing about your situation has changed yet. But there's a sentry at the gate now, posted the moment you handed it over. He isn't asking you to feel peaceful. He's asking you to stop standing watch alone. 1 Peter 5:7 says it plainly, casting all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. Read the reason He gives. Not because you should be stronger, because He cares for you. So here's the night shift protocol, 1 line each. Rejoice at the right target. Joy anchored to Him holds. Soften your grip. The Lord is at hand. Pray specifically, with thanksgiving. Make it a handoff, not a recital. Receive the guard. You do verse 6, God does verse 7. Feed your mind what's true and practice it, and the God of peace will be with you. So here's tonight's choice at 2 in the morning. You can keep pacing the perimeter of a problem you cannot fix by staring at it. Or you can hand over the watch and lie down. Stop standing watch alone. Let His peace take the post. If that's your prayer tonight, type it in the comments. Take the watch, Lord. That's not a comment, that's a shift change. Share this with someone whose 2 a.m. you already know about. You know exactly who. And subscribe to Faith Inc. Then watch the one on the peace quietly leaking out of your home. It's this video's other half. Because the peace of God doesn't wait for your circumstances to make sense. It just takes the post and stands there all night. See you in the next one.